John Kosko from Pro Football Focus does the quarterback grades, or is part of the team that does, and he joins us right now. John, explain to us why Aaron Rodgers got one of the lowest QB grades on Sunday.
Yeah, he was 26th, not 28th.
Well, I'm getting bad information from Mulsey.
John, I was just looking at it today where it had McCarthy and Williams both above him. That's why I put 28th. And then I know Zach Wilson technically got in there and was below him as well in 9 scintillating throws or whatever.
Well, I take it all back. He's 26. We're all good then, John. We don't have a beef anymore.
Yep. All right. See you later.
Exactly. We're good, right? I think it's good to understand how the grades come about, right? So Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't say had a bad game, and you can have a bad single grade game without having a bad game. And the way that happens is basically what you're asked to do in the offense that you're running. I think that Rodgers, made all the throws that not all, but most of the throws that he wanted to make. One of the things that doesn't show up on the stat sheet is a dropped interception that he had late in the fourth quarter when they were down by 2 points on their game-winning drive. He was attempting to throw the ball away. It went into the hands of the Jets defender, and he just dropped it. That very well could have ended the game for the Steelers right there. And so that is heavily downgraded, and it doesn't show up in the stat. But you look at what he was able to do, from what they were asking him to do. He had 9 screen passes. They were all caught, went for about 50 yards. And then without the screen passes in there, he was 13 for 21 for 196 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not bad by any means, but it's obviously, he's asked to throw a lot of screen passes. And when you're asked to do that, and you maybe don't throw anything big down the field and have any sort of a lot of throws that are, beating the second level of the defense, your grade isn't just going to be all that great.
Well,
so
and that's fine. I do somewhat get where you're coming from. I did not expect necessarily one of the touchdown passes was pretty much a handoff to Jonnu Smith. So if you guys said, look, it was not quite Josh Allen-esque or Justin Herbert-esque, I would say, okay, I can understand that to some degree. Where you guys lose me is, how could Cam Ward, who completed 12 of 28 for 112 yards and literally sacked his team out of field goal range in the fourth quarter, how in the world could he have had a better game than Aaron Rodgers? John, I can't reconcile that.
So it's again, I think it's more understanding how the grades come about, right? If Cam Ward makes a dime throw down the field, that's, we would consider a big time throw. Maybe he gets a +1 or a +1.5. I don't think he had any 1.5s, but just as an example, but it gets dropped. Obviously, that goes down on a stat sheet as an incompletion, but it goes on to his wide receiver. We saw it happen a couple of times in that game where he made a couple of really good throws, but they were not completed. In terms of the Aaron Rodgers, if you look at actually each one of his touchdowns, he had the screen pass that went for a touchdown. The touchdown that he had. First touchdown he had over the middle of the field, the Jets busted at coverage, and it was a walk-in touchdown. The second touchdown he had was, like you said, to Jonnu Smith, which is a walk-in for him as well. And then even the third touchdown that was down the field beginning of the fourth quarter, a couple minutes later after the Jonnu Smith one, was another busted type of coverage where 21 bit hard on the play action. He was wide open in the end zone. So,
shouldn't he get credit for the play action fake to get the guy to bite in?
So, that play action fake is not. We're not grading how well he does a play action fake. He stuck the hand out there. It's on the cornerback more so to read the offensive line, because if you're reading your keys properly as a defensive back, you shouldn't be coming screaming up when the high hats are for the offensive line. So from a play action standpoint, every quarterback in the NFL is able to make a play action fake. Maybe Rodgers is slightly better than the rest of the league at doing that. I think there is something to him doing that, but he gets credit for making the throw and finding the open receiver. He's just not going to get as big of a grade in that type of a play as you would say he's throwing it into tight, beating tight coverage and layering it over a couple of defenders. So he gets a positive grade per play. It's just not a big time throw type of throw. And